Hello everyone, and welcome to the Well Baby channel. Today, we have an exciting and valuable topic to discuss: what a woman can expect in active labor. Please be sure to watch until the very end, because I'm sure it will be very valuable to you new moms who are anxious to know what the signs are that your new addition is about to arrive. This channel is all about your newborn experience and was created specifically to assist you as much as possible with your precious arrival. Now let's get straight into the video. Labor is the process by which a baby is born, and it typically consists of several stages. Recognizing the signs of labor can help you prepare for the arrival of your baby. Keep in mind that not all women experience the same signs, and labor can vary from person to person. Here are some common signs that you may be in labor. Contractions are often the most obvious sign of labor. These are uterine muscle contractions that become regular, stronger, and closer together as labor progresses. True labor contractions are usually painful and last for about 30 to 60 seconds. Your amniotic sac may rupture, leading to a gush or a slow trickle of amniotic fluid. This is commonly referred to as your water breaking. Sometimes, contractions start before the water breaks, while in other cases, it happens the other way around. Once your water breaks, the time it takes for your baby to arrive can vary widely from person to person. In some cases, labor may start shortly after the water breaks, while in others, it may take several hours or even longer. Here are some factors that can influence the timeline after your water breaks. If your water breaks during the early stages of labor, when contractions are mild and irregular, it may take longer for active labor to begin and for your baby to be born. In some cases, contractions may start on their own within hours of the water breaking. The position of the baby in the birth canal can impact the progress of labor. If the baby is in an optimal position for birth, labor may progress more quickly. Conversely, if the baby is in a less favorable position, it may take longer. The volume of amniotic fluid that was present before your water broke can affect the timeline. If there was a significant amount of amniotic fluid, it may continue to leak slowly, which can extend the time between the water breaking and active labor. Once the amniotic sac is ruptured, there is a higher risk of infection if labor does not progress within a reasonable time frame. This is why healthcare providers often monitor the progress of labor after the water breaks and may recommend interventions if necessary. In some cases, medical interventions such as the administration of oxytocin, pitocin, may be used to help induce or augment labor after the water breaks. The timing and use of such interventions will depend on your healthcare provider's assessment of your situation. Hospital policies and guidelines can also influence the management of labor after the water breaks. Some hospitals may have specific protocols in place for women whose water has broken, including a time limit for the progression of labor. When a woman's water breaks, it can feel like a sudden gush or a slow trickle of warm fluid from the vagina. The sensation is often described as similar to the feeling of peeing uncontrollably, but it's usually odorless and clear or slightly tinged with a pale pink or yellow color. The experience can vary from person to person, but it's generally distinct and can be a significant sign that labor is beginning. If your water breaks, it's essential to contact your healthcare provider or go to the hospital as soon as possible for an assessment. They will monitor you and your baby, assess the progress of labor, and determine the appropriate course of action based on your individual circumstances. It's important to follow their guidance and keep them informed of any changes or concerns you may have during this time. The mucus plug, which has been sealing your cervix during pregnancy, may come loose or be expelled. This can be a sign that labor is approaching, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're in active labor. Your cervix will gradually thin out, efface, and dilate, open, as labor progresses. Your healthcare provider will monitor these changes during prenatal exams and may be able to tell you if you are making progress toward delivery. Some women experience back pain as a sign of labor, especially if the baby is positioned in a way that puts pressure on the lower back. You may notice an increase in vaginal discharge as labor approaches. It may be pink or tinged with blood, known as bloody show. As the baby moves lower into the pelvis, you may feel increased pressure on your pelvic area and a sensation of fullness in your lower abdomen. If you notice a change in your baby's movement patterns, such as decreased fetal movement, contact your healthcare provider. Some women experience gastrointestinal symptoms like nausea and diarrhea as labor approaches. Many women report feeling more emotional or having a sense that labor is imminent in the days leading up to delivery. Some women may experience changes in hunger or appetite as they approach labor and delivery. These changes can vary from person to person, and not all women will necessarily experience them. Here are some hunger-related signs and changes that some women report before going into labor. Many women find that their appetite decreases as labor approaches. This can be due to the physical and emotional changes that occur during this time. Some women may feel too anxious or preoccupied with labor to eat much. Nausea or an upset stomach can occur in the lead-up to labor. This can be related to hormonal shifts and the body's natural preparation for childbirth. Some women report unusual food cravings in the days or hours leading up to labor. These cravings can vary widely, from sweet to salty to spicy. You may notice that your sense of taste is altered as labor approaches. Some women report that certain foods taste different or are unappetizing. As labor progresses, you may experience fatigue and a decrease in energy levels. This can affect your interest in eating. Eating during labor is a topic that has evolved over time in medical practice, and recommendations can vary depending on your healthcare provider, your individual circumstances, and the specific policies of the hospital or birthing center where you plan to deliver. Here are some general guidelines regarding eating during labor. Instead, clear liquids like water, ice chips, clear broths, and electrolyte drinks may be encouraged to keep you hydrated. It's essential to stay well hydrated during labor, as dehydration can lead to fatigue and potential complications. Cesarean section or regional anesthesia. If you are scheduled for a cesarean section or receive regional anesthesia, example, epidural or spinal block, you will likely be asked to refrain from eating solid foods for a specific period before the procedure to reduce the risk of aspiration, inhaling stomach contents into the lungs. It's important to listen to your body during this time. If you're hungry, it's okay to eat small, easily digestible snacks to maintain your energy levels. Staying hydrated is also crucial during labor, so be sure to drink plenty of water or clear fluids as recommended by your healthcare provider. If you have concerns about changes in your appetite or are experiencing nausea and vomiting, it's a good idea to discuss these symptoms with your healthcare provider. They can offer guidance on managing any discomfort and ensure that you and your baby are well supported throughout the labor and delivery process. The average amount of time a woman spends in active labor can vary significantly from one individual to another. Several factors influence the duration of active labor, including the woman's age, physical condition, whether it's her first pregnancy, primipara, or subsequent pregnancies, multipara, the position of the baby, and the specific circumstances of labor. On average, active labor typically lasts anywhere from 4 to 8 hours for most women, but it can be shorter or longer. Here's a breakdown of the different stages of labor. Early labor, this stage can last for several hours and involves mild to moderate contractions that help to efface, thin out, and dilate, open, the cervix. Early labor can vary widely in duration, and it's often the longest stage of labor. Active labor. As labor progresses and contractions become stronger and more regular, many healthcare providers recommend avoiding solid foods. This is because there is a risk of nausea and vomiting during active labor, and having undigested food in your stomach can increase this risk. Active labor begins when the cervix is around 6 centimeters dilated and continues until it reaches 10 centimeters. During active labor, contractions become stronger, more frequent, and regular. This stage typically lasts around 4 to 8 hours, but can vary. During the early stages of labor, when contractions are mild and irregular, it's usually safe and advisable to eat light, easily digestible foods. This can help maintain your energy levels and keep you hydrated. Foods like clear broths, fruit juices, yogurt, jello, and plain toast are often recommended. The transition phase. Transition is the final part of active labor and typically involves rapid cervical dilation from 8 to 10 centimeters. Contractions are intense, and this phase can last anywhere from a few minutes to a couple of hours. It's important to remember that these are general guidelines, and individual experiences can differ significantly. First-time mothers often have longer labor, while subsequent labors may be shorter. The position of the baby, the effectiveness of contractions, and other factors play a role in the duration of active labor. It's essential for women to work closely with their healthcare providers and birthing teams during labor. Healthcare providers will monitor the progress of labor and provide guidance on pain management and interventions if needed. Each labor experience is unique, so having a supportive healthcare team and a birth plan in place can help ensure a safe and positive birthing experience. Be sure to tune into our other informative sessions listed right here on our channel. Like a week-by-week journey into your first, second, and third trimesters and navigating fatherhood, tips for first-time dads. You won't want to miss them. In most cases, you will have signs and symptoms that indicate when it's time for your baby to arrive. These signs are part of the natural progression of labor and often include regular, strong contractions. Contractions become regular, stronger, and closer together as labor progresses. Timing contractions can help you determine when it's time to head to the hospital or birth center. Your healthcare provider can monitor your cervical dilation and effacement during prenatal checkups. When your cervix has dilated to the desired level, typically 10 centimeters, and is fully effaced, it's a sign that you're ready for the pushing stage of labor. If your amniotic sac ruptures, causing your water to break, it's a sign that labor is likely underway or about to start. It's essential to contact your healthcare provider or head to the hospital after your water breaks. The mucus plug that has sealed your cervix during pregnancy may be expelled as labor nears. This can be accompanied by a pink or bloody discharge, known as the bloody show. As the baby moves down the birth canal, you may feel increased pressure in your pelvis and a sensation of needing to have a bowel movement. Contractions typically become more frequent and more intense as you progress through the stages of labor. Some women report a sense of impending labor or emotional changes, such as feeling more focused or determined, as a sign that it's time for the baby to arrive. While these signs can indicate that labor is progressing, it's essential to consult with your healthcare provider and follow their guidance throughout the process. Your healthcare provider can assess your condition, monitor your progress, and help you make decisions about when to head to the hospital or birthing center. Every labor is unique, and the timeline can vary from person to person. It's also possible to experience false labor contractions, known as Braxton Hicks contractions, which can mimic some of the signs of true labor. If you have any doubts or concerns about when it's time for your baby to arrive, don't hesitate to contact your healthcare provider for guidance and support. It's important to contact your healthcare provider when you suspect you may be in labor or experience any of these signs. They can provide guidance on when to go to the hospital or birthing center and monitor your progress. Remember that every labor is unique, so trust your instincts and seek medical advice if you have any concerns about the signs of labor or the progression of your pregnancy. Always follow the guidance provided by your healthcare provider or the policies of the healthcare facility where you plan to give birth. Your healthcare team's primary concern is the safety of you and your baby during labor and delivery. If you have any questions or concerns about eating during labor, discuss them with your healthcare provider in advance so that you are aware of the specific recommendations for your situation. It's also worth noting that the recommendations regarding eating during labor can change over time, so it's a good idea to discuss this topic with your healthcare provider during your prenatal care visits to stay informed about the most current guidelines and practices. Thank you for tuning into our channel today. By the time you've reached this stage, your little bundle of joy is on his way. Be kind to yourself, listen to your body, and enjoy this amazing experience. Until next time, stay healthy and happy.